Chapter 1. In a faraway barrio, a beautiful child is born. Her parents called her Dore. Her eyes are sparkling bright, her lips are red, hair is thick and skin is fair. Many people in the barrio already foresee that Dore will grow up, beautiful, and will bring luck not only to the family but also to the whole town. On her baptism day, many went to the church to witness. They were amazed to see the hacienda owner also present during the mass. With them is a frail boy around 7 years old, sitting in a wheelchair. A blanket covers his legs. He looks very sick and have a hard time smiling with people. He looks friendly. The boy's parents asked the priest to say a healing mass for the boy. The boy, which the town folks called Emilio, was sick and no doctors could cure. They had been to several places, looking for the best doctor, including local healers called Albulario, but was unsuccessful. As such, they decided to build a hacienda in Barrio Mapagmahal to stay. The air is fresh, the people are kind. Maybe it will help Emilio recover. During the mass, no one wants to sit beside the rich family who were sitting in front. The church is full, but people decided to stand outside the church to hear mass rather than sit with them. It is not known if they are afraid of getting sick as well because of Emilio, or they are ashamed to be branded as climbing the ladder by being with them. Who knows what is in their mind? Dore's parents, Isco and Maria, just came. They were late for the mass and nowhere to sit. Maria, having just given birth to Dore, cannot stand long, and Isco was carrying cloth, diapers, and milk bottle. They also have some fruits for the offerings. Seeing that no one is sitting in front, they decided to go there. It was too late to know that the ones in there were the riches in town. They can't back out. The rich family have seen them and called them. Isco and Maria were uneasy sitting beside Emilio. They have not washed that day, as Isco came directly from the farm and Maria was tending Dore. Emilio, seeing Dore, find her cute and wasn't listening to the mass. He was trying for the first time to make friend. He was smiling, playing with Dore's tiny hands and making faces to make Dore giggle. That was a very precious moment for Emilio's parents. It was the first time they see their boy acting like a child. In Chapter 2. Emilio's parents noticed the boy's change. After the mass, they approached Isco and Maria if they can adopt Dore, as she gives Emilio a desire to live. They explained that Emilio has only a few years to live and he is already giving up medical care. He never smiles nor play with other children. He just confined himself in his room reading books. He doesn't even want to go out. Having Dore might help. Dore's parents refused. In their mind, what will happen to Dore once Emilio is dead? Will they throw her away like a stray cat? They have no blood relation. It will be hard to guess, as even relatives sometimes forget they are related, especially when one is poor and the other one suddenly becomes rich. Having refused their offer and seeing how happy Emilio is with baby Dore, they propose to be Dore's godparents upon learning that Dore will be baptized that day. This was readily accepted by the family. Having second parents will be able to help Dore as she grows older. During the rites, Emilio was still holding baby Dore's little hands. It is as if he was the godparents, as Dore won't release his hand. Unlike other babies who cries when water is poured on the head, Dore chuckled and looked at Emilio as if saying, "See, I am taking a bath." This makes Emilio burst into laughter. Again, his first time. The reception was so simple. Isco, being just a farmer, have almost nothing much to offer. However, since Dore is their firstborn, he invited close friends and relatives. He has some cooked food which were prepared by the neighbors while they were in the church. Emilio's parents immediately asked the servants to buy lechon and some cooked food in the nearby restaurant to add more, as it is a common practice in the province that the whole barangay comes even without invitation. Some even brought extra plastic so they can bring home some food. Unfortunately, since the rich family was present, the guests are clever and a bit refined. They waited until the feast is over before taking home whatever is left. Typically, for occasions like this, guests were already putting food on their plates to be sent home, then back again at the table to eat. Some even bring home the pots and pans used during the celebration, as they believe it to be lucky. As such, Many utensils and silverwares are lost after the celebration. Chapter 3. Isco and Maria are so proud having their rich neighbor as principal sponsor on Dore's baptism. They, however, never take advantage of it. They are contented on what is given. They never ask. They never beg. Unlike some neighbors, who always go to the hacienda to ask for help for every calamities, events, or occasion, Isco and Maria relies on themselves. They are both hardworking, making Emilio's parents happy about their choice in volunteering as compadre. Many of their townsfolk then usually request Don Luis and Donna Leonor as sponsor for every baptism, christening, and weddings. They, however, politely refused. Emilio, on the other hand, watches Dore grow. He, however, never show himself. He just watch from afar. He also ensure that Dore has enough milk, vitamins, and diapers. Maria, Dore's mom, is very frugal, though. She washes the diaper, knowing how expensive those are. As such, Dore wears the diaper over and over again until cotton, hardened or already disintegrating. What is wrong with Emilio? Many people asked. Doctors says Emilio has a rare disease, making him develop a weak body and susceptible to diseases. His frail body makes him sickly and unable to stand. The quack doctors, on the other hand, says the grandparents of Don Luis was cursed. A servant falls in love with her master, but was refused, as he already has a fiancé. The curse will only be lifted once a child in the 7th generation falls in love and be accepted as who he is. Emilio is in the 7th generation. It is a matter of live or die in his case, as he has only a few years to live. Emilio and his parents does not believe in curse. As such, Emilio, although liking Dore at an early age, is avoiding her in fear of passing his disease. In addition, he doesn't want to make Dore cry once he dies. It is hard for Emilio and his parents living always in fear. Emilio suffers excruciating pains during cold nights and feverish during summer. Chapter 4. Emilio loves Dore from afar and keeps on stalking her no matter how hard it was for him. From time to time, he still sends vitamins and clothes to Dore. For him, Dore deserves the best. When Dore was already 3 years old, she now helps the family in the rice field. While his parents removes the grass, Dore will pick up snails and crablets for their food, as the irrigation of the rice field comes from the river. If she is lucky, she can find mudfish as well. On one occasion, Dore accidentally saw Emilio from afar. He was having seizure and the nurse have to go and find some help. Dore, not knowing what is happening, run to Emilio to play. She brought with her a piece of boiled sweet potato. Emilio, seeing Dore, pretended he is fine. In reality, he feels so bad. He was nauseous and chilling. Dore, noticing Emilio trembling, embraces Emilio with her tiny arms. Emilio immediately feels relief. He doesn't feel cold anymore, and the dizziness is slowly fading. He smiled sweetly to Dore. "Are you hungry?" asked Dore, while cutting her sweet potato into half. She also carefully peeled the skin and give the other half to Emilio. "I am good. I just finished my bread," answered Emilio. He was lying, as he doesn't want to take away the little food Dore has. "No, you have to eat this. I already removed the skin. I will cry if you don't eat," insisted Dore. Emilio, not wanting to see Dore cry, took a bite. It was delicious. The most delicious sweet potato he ever had. He keeps on munching and finished his food immediately. "See, I told you, you need to eat. You look hungry. If you want some more, I can dig some more and cook it for you," bragged Dore. Emilio laughed at Dore. He was so impressed that Dore grows up so pretty now that he see her near. She was also very independent at her age and caring. He just wished he can play with Dore. Soon Dore pushed Emilio's wheelchair to be with her parents, Isco and Maria. She was so proud. Finding a boy who has a nice chair that has wheels. She would like to ride with Emilio too, being just a toddler, but Emilio needs some help. Isco and Maria, of course, were surprised to see Emilio. He was still a very handsome boy, though very thin. He seemed not been eating well. Besides, what can they offer to him? Does he know how to eat snails and crablets? Does he eat sweet potato or rice? Chapter 5. It was already lunchtime. Maria had finished cooking the snails and the crablets with coconut milk. The mudfish caught by Dore was grilled. Rice was cooked and little Dore has just dug some sweet potato. Emilio was surprised to know that sweet potato is a root crop and not a fruit. He had a great time watching Dore skipping and jumping as she hops along the sweet potato vines. She was very careful, though, not to step on the plants and carefully took some young leaves for her mom to cook. What a lively child. When the food is ready, Emilio was just looking at the crablet and how tiny those were. He was used to eat big crabs, and the snails are already supposedly exposing its meat, ready for eating. He doesn't want to embarrass the family, but he really doesn't know how he will eat those food. Dore, sitting beside Emilio, tried to save him. She took a small toothpick to get the snail meat out and put it to Emilio's plate. In addition, she also told Emilio that sucking the snails tastes better. She also put some boiled camote tops with bagoong for him to taste. As for the crablets, she removed the legs and then ate it whole. It was crunchy. After observing how Dore eats the food, Emilio began eating. He found the food delicious and ate a lot. They were telling stories and laughing while eating. Dore was also very attentive to Emilio, as she often asked him what he likes and which food he wants. Meanwhile, the nurse had come back together with Emilio's parents. The car is ready in case he needs to be taken to the hospital. However, they can't find Emilio. Where did he go? Was he kidnapped? Did he fall and was taken to the hospital by the farmers? Where is he? Emilio's mother was already crying, and his father was also mad at the nurse. Why did she panic and leave Emilio? She should have taken care of him being a nurse and have asked someone to ask for help instead of doing it, herself leaving behind a sick boy. She will surely get fired. Chapter 6. Emilio's parents are already panicking since they can't find Emilio. Don Luis have already called the police in search for Emilio. He is their only son, the only person that makes them want to live. Donna Leonor will surely wish to die if she lose Emilio. Emilio, on the other hand, had a hearty meal. He was so full and burped so loud Dore laughs. She finds it funny. Being so full, both kids feel sleepy. Isco and Maria helps Emilio in their makeshift bed so that he can have a rest. It's hard sitting on his chair the whole day. Dore, on the other hand, put a lot of blankets and pillows to make it comfortable for Emilio. For the first time, Emilio falls in a deep sleep beside Dore. He does not feel any discomfort at all. Isco and Maria, on the other hand, wonders why Emilio was here. His parents must be looking for him. As such, Isco decided to look further in search for Emilio's parents instead of taking a siesta. He soon found Don Luis and Donna Leonor frantically searching for Emilio. He explained to them that Dore found him and brought him home. Both kids are now sleeping. Emilio's parents followed Isco back home and really see their son sleeping. Dore was sleeping beside him using Emilio's hand as her pillow and was tightly embracing Emilio. Emilio, on the other hand, was sleeping on the top of the pillows and blankets which serves as mattress. He was in a deep sleep. His face looks peaceful and no sign of pain. He seemed happy. They did not say a word and just waited for the kids to wake up. Isco and Maria offered them left, over food which they refused, knowing how hard life it is on the field. Don Luis then asked the servants to call the police to stop searching and bring meat to cook for dinner. It was late in the afternoon when Emilio and Dore woke up. Emilio's arm feels numb as Dore slept on it, but he was happy and doesn't want to wake up. Dore, he waited for a while until she woke up in search for food again. Emilio laughs at Dore and calls her his little piggy. Dore was hungry and doesn't mind, so she begins searching for food. She soon found some fruits and share with Emilio. Emilio gladly accepts and eats, happily to the amazement of his parents, who were watching outside. They have not seen Emilio eating this much. He will just taste the food and refuse to finish. Eating a bit much will make him vomit. Chapter 7. Emilio's family stayed for dinner. Maria cooked the meat into adobo and some rice. Their rice is not enough for everyone, so they boiled sweet potato and corn for everyone to share. After dinner, they waited a while to see if Emilio will vomit all the food he ate as he usually do, but he did not. They were so glad he is so full and yet not nauseous. The car picked them up later back to the hacienda, observing Emilio at night. Their family doctor was already called, ready for any emergency that might occur. Nothing happens that night. Emilio sleeps soundly and deeply all night, and waking up fully rested. Emilio wants to go out immediately to see Dore. He asks the servants to cook breakfast, which he will be bringing to Dore's family to share. His parents also ask the servants to take a sack of rice as well, knowing that Dore and her family already runs out. The night before, Emilio will be staying with them the whole day. A male nurse this time goes with Emilio to take care of his personal needs. Certainly, Emilio will not allow a woman to assist. They also carries a small cooler filled with ice, meat, and fish. Emilio has appetite when he is with Dore and eats a lot without vomiting. They believe he will soon get better. Emilio, being homeschooled, brought a small folding table, his books and pens. He will be studying while watching Dore from time to time. Today is different, however. He will be right in Dore's place instead of watching her from afar. Dore, on the other hand, and her family wakes up early as usual to work in the field. She was looking forward in seeing Emilio so she can make him eat all the food she doesn't want anymore. She loves the food from last night, which she can only have when there is a feast in the village. Meat is scarce. It is expensive, so they can only have meat during Sunday after Mass. It is, however, only very little with lots and lots of vegetables. With Emilio around, she was able to eat adobo with lots of meat instead of adobo with lots of soup. Dore was eating her breakfast when Emilio arrives. It was the leftover rice mixed with coffee and sugar as the soup. She was eating happily when she saw Emilio. She ran immediately to greet him and asked him if he likes to eat. Emilio looking at her food and was wondering, isn't coffee was for drinking and not as soup? He did not say anything though, but tasted what Dore was eating when he was given a spoon. They just share in the same bowl and finish the food. It wasn't enough for two people, so Emilio asked the servants about the breakfast he asked them to prepare. It has eggs, ham, cheese, bacon, hot dogs, and loaf bread. First time for Dore to see so much food at once, just for breakfast. Emilio called Isco and Maria to join. He also called them Tatai and Nanai, like Dore did. After eating, Dore doesn't want to leave Emilio in case he gets sick again. Emilio also doesn't want Dore to work at an early age. However, Tatai and Nanai needs Dore to help catching the snails, the crablets and mudfish, which she is good at. Maria and Isco can work together, removing the grass that grows along with the rice and the insects that eats the leaves. This is their usual routine. Chapter 8. Emilio studies while Dore works. From time to time, he will glance at Dore, especially when his eyes are tired. It was a delight to watch Dore singing and dancing while doing her stuff. At lunch, Dore and her family begin cooking what they gathered in the field. As Emilio brought sack of rice, they were so happy. It will last for a long time. Emilio also asked the maid to open the cooler so Maria can cook anything she wants. Dore went near the cooler, and since it is filled with ice, she felt the coldness immediately. It was her first time to see a magical cold box. She took an ice and held it on her cheeks. It's cold, but she likes it. She then let it go when she had enough and held Emilio's leg teasingly. Her hands are so cold. Emilio felt the coldness, which he never felt before. Is he getting better? His legs doesn't feel anything in the past. He was paralyzed halfway down. How did he felt its coldness? He asked Dore to get an ice for him, and he will step on it. He doesn't feel anything for a while, but slowly, he is feeling its coldness until he can no longer bear it. It was a miracle. It seems he feels everything whenever he is with Dore. He doesn't feel dizzy. He can eat a lot, and his legs can feel no matter how small it is. Dore chose the big red fish, red emperor carp. Maria, seeing that it is an expensive fish, asked Dore to choose a different one, something small. Dore refused, as it will be for Emilio. It's all right. If Dore likes it, then so be it. Can you please cook sweet and sour fish, Nane? Requested Emilio. He likes that so much, and sure of himself Dore have not tasted it. He would like to see her reaction. Maria, with the help of the cook that Emilio brought along with him, prepare and cook the fish. It was so big that everyone had a hearty meal. Emilio and Dore then sleep together after eating. He will teach Dore how to write later when she woke up. His parents will come back in the afternoon and pick him up. He can't wait to tell them about his good news. Chapter 9. Soon, Emilio's parents came to pick him at the same time as the previous day. They ate dinner again in Dore's house to confirm Emilio's condition. He was fine after eating, and even when they reached home, he fell asleep early and forgot about his great news. The night went by so fast, Emilio woke up, early and excited to go immediately to the field. This becomes their usual routine. 6 months have passed, and Emilio has gained considerable weight. His cheeks are now rosy, and muscles are beginning to develop on his legs. Secretly, he was practicing how to stand in his room with the help of his physiotherapist. He would like to surprise Dore. Every day after Dore's task, she will sit on Emilio's lap on the wheelchair. Emilio will try to move the wheelchair back and forth to give Dore a ride. She was so happy in Emilio's little way of playing with her. Emilio also teach Dore read and write from time to time. He never forced Dore, though, to study, but let her do it whenever he is ready. However, Emilio can only stay in the field, Monday to Friday as Saturday. And Sunday are for the grandparents. Unfortunately, any food he eats outside Dore's house will make him vomit. He will not be comfortable the whole day through until such time he see Dore again. Because of this, Donna Leonor from time to time needs to borrow Dore to be with Emilio during those days. Although Dore is happy being with Emilio, riding a car and visiting big houses, it wasn't easy for her. Emilio's cousins will usually pick on with Dore when Emilio is not around. They also call her names like Beluga because of her dark skin. They often call her Pulubian Patay Gutom, as she always eat a lot whenever she sees something new. Being just a child, Dore doesn't mind. It will always be Emilio who will throw a fit whenever he see it or learn about it. On the other hand, Don Luis and Donna Leonor will certainly impose the family tradition for misdemeanor. Children will be standing in front of the wall for hours. On worst cases, they will be whipped defending on the gravity of the offense. The grandparent, on the other hand, will always side with Emilio and Dore, as they know Dore is Emilio's cure. Donna Leonor's relatives are always envious with Dore, thinking she was being prioritized. They would like their children to be adopted by Don Luis, since he only has one son. Emilio has 2 more brothers who both died before reaching 10. They have the same symptoms with Emilio, expecting Emilio to die as well. They want their children to replace him to share Donna Leonor's wealth. Technically, it is Don Luis who is rich. It is only Donna Leonor who is well off in their family. That is why they want to get rid of Dore. Why is Emilio at ease with Dore? Chapter 10. Among folks living in the field, Friday is always special among the men. They usually catch some wild animals like the monitor lizard, commonly known as biawak, cooked with coconut milk until tender. Nothing is thrown in this delicacy, as even the skin can be deep. Fried in the intestine, cooked with vinegar. This is their common finger food, pulutan, while they drink lambanog or gin. Don Luis from time to time joined the group, but he will be bringing cases of beers. Lambanog is too strong for him that he easily gets drunk. Donna Leonor, on the other hand, joins the woman folk. They are busy preparing dishes for everyone. As they do, they gossip. This gives Donna Leonor information about the community firsthand. Emilio and Dore were always busy waiting for the session to finish. Since Dore's family has no TV, she is contented with what Emilio tells her. Emilio will try to focus on whatever he was watching so that he can have justice to his stories. Since Emilio's family is rich, they have cable TV so he can watch the program in advance. Dore can watch TV too from their neighbors, but they have to pay in spite of the fact that we're just watching at the window. Sometimes those rich neighbors will just close the window when they are not in the mood or when they are going to eat. As such, Dore and other kids have to wait outside until the TV owner feels like opening the window again. In one occasion, while Emilio was telling stories to Dore, Uncle Moses came. He is her father's best friend and quite well known to the metaphysical world. He was keenly looking at Dore and Emilio. Don Luis, being observant for every new face he meets, asked Moses. Pare, kanina ka pa nakatigtig sa dubata? Asked Don Luis. Espesyal sila. Mga matatandang kaluluwa, answered Moses. No one fully understand what he means until Isco asked him. They are destined to be together, but time does not permit. They have been together many years ago, but their love was never fulfilled, said Moses. Don Luis, would you mind if I asked if your son is sickly? Does he has discomfort when he is not with Dore? Do you have sons that died before the age of 10? Continued Moses. Don Luis was shocked at first, but he dismissed the idea. He doesn't want to believe in metaphysics. Maybe he just know Emilio's condition from Grapevine. But how about his 2 dead sons? They were long dead before they moved to the barrio and never talked about those 2 dead kids. Not even Emilio knows he has brothers. Chapter 11. The word matandang kaluluwa piqued the interest of everyone. They stopped drinking for a while to listen to Moses' story. Moses asked a permission to see Emilio closely. He had seen Dore several times and knows her very well, but not Emilio. Emilio's handsome face radiates in the moonlight. His innocent look is so angelic. It is a pity he will die before age, 10 like his brothers. He has to do something. This is the 7th generation of sufferings between Emilio and Dore. These 2 kids have to be married before age 10 or Emilio will die as the curse goes. However, Emilio is just 912 and Dore was just 3. It is definitely impossible. Moses put his hands over Emilio's head and closed his eyes. He stayed like that for a long time. Emilio kept his composure and was in a dreamlike stance. He see things he shouldn't have, just like Moses, as Moses was guiding his soul back to the past. He needs to know what is wrong with him and his family. All males in the family dies before reaching 10. Don Luis was just lucky that he has an arranged marriage with Donna Leonor. Without knowing about the curse, Donna Leonor becomes his child bride. They were just kids then when they get married. In Emilio's dream, he was a Spanish soldier, a very handsome one, probably 14 or 16 years, but not more than that. He was taller than the rest and has good built. His family's poor. The queen then posted an announcement to recruit soldiers to search for spices in the Westward Spice Island. Volunteers will be given money, which will be able to help the family. Not knowing the dangers he will be going into, he's more than happy to be of service to the country and earn at the same time. They traveled for so many months. Because of the long travel time, some of his colleagues died from malaria. Some are thrown into the sea to save on food. The best are saved to the last. The priest, the journalist, the medics, and those with official titles are of course exempted to the hardship and food scarcity. They are well fed and taken care of. Finally, they see land. They see natives catching fish on the sea. Seeing the white skin, big boats, and unusual clothes, the natives are first got scared with them, thinking the gods must have gone down from heaven or the Lambana could be playing around. They, however, did not land immediately where the natives are. They landed in a deserted island to gather supplies and rest. Chapter 12. They then moved into the nearby island. While on that island, Emilio, who at that time was called Lucas, saw pretty natives bathing and washing clothes and utensils in the river. They were scared of the men that came and sensing danger. Everyone run way back home, leaving the utensils and clothes they were washing. Lucas falls in love at first sight with one of the natives. He will always volunteer to pick up supplies and water to see the beautiful native that stole his heart. He longed to see her, talk to her, and be with her. However, every time the soldiers are out, the girls will scrapple away in fear. One time Lucas got lucky. The girl he was waiting for suddenly appears by herself picking up mangoes. Knowing the girl will run away, Lucas pretended not to see her and began playing music through his pipe. The girl was amused and searched where the melody is coming from. She then saw Lucas. He has yellow hair, white skin, tall and skinny. He looks like a lambana or a male fairy. The young girl has fair skin, long curly hair, thick lashes, and the sweetest smile Lucas can imagine. The girl went near him and tried to offer him food, which Lucas gladly accepts. They ate mango and tries to communicate, using sign language and their native languages until both were able to remember a few words from each other. The girl's name was Cinta, Dore in current life. They become friends and agrees to see each other every day at the same time and place. Soon the soldiers and the girls become friends. Cinta brought Lucas and his friends to their tribe and was introduced to the chieftain and his family. They were entertained well. They were given a feast and filled the night with food, wine, music, and dancing. Inasmuch as Lucas wants to be with Cinta, it is quite difficult, because the chieftain is always beside him together with his eldest daughter Anahal. From the looks of it, Datu Bato wants Lucas for his daughter Anahal. Cinta and her family are just Timawa, or free men. Her family are merchants. They move from one place to another to sell crops. Cinta, knowing it will be hard to be with her Lambana, tries to control her feelings. She could only give a few glances to Lucas, which will always be answered with a sweet smile. Secretly, Lucas and Cinta still see each other. They are happy. They eat, laugh, dance, and sing together. In some occasion, Cinta will help Lucas wash his clothes. Anahal, on the other hand, is a pampered princess. Being a Maharlika, she has a lot of bodyguards and alapin every time she goes out in search for Lucas. Being rich, she always ride on a chair being carried by strong males on their shoulder. Chapter 13. Soon, Lucas and Cinta falls in love with each other. Since both are in marriageable age, Lucas would like to ask for Cinta's hand. He already asked Cinta the tradition that needs to be done so she can be his wife. So much preparations has been done by the two. Lucas already told his captain of his plan of marrying Cinta. The Gustif captain is fine with it, as intermarriage with the natives will be good for them. They can easily conquer the people and acquire their land. However, Lucas is the most handsome guy in his group. It will be better if Lucas can marry a Maharlika. Cinta's parents are also well aware of Lucas and Cinta's relation. It will be of great pride for the family to have such a son-in-law. In fact, they were already making preparation for the Pamahikan and just waiting for Lucas to inform his captain. They have also already prepared their dowry. The news about Lucas and Cinta did not escape the prying ears of Datu Bato. Lucas is a good catch. He is not only handsome, but also very responsible. Beside, his daughter Anahal likes him too. As such, he created a sinister plan. He will talk with Lucas's captain to ask for an intermarriage. The captain will certainly agree. He will use the peace pact in exchange for Lucas' marriage to his own daughter. Soon, Datu Bato asked for the captain's presence to talk about the peace pact. As planned, Datu Bato have chosen Lucas to be his son-in-law. He is willing to give the group a big piece of land, golds, jewelries, and will allow his people to be converted to Christianity. It was such as a good deal the captain cannot refuse. Lucas is just a soldier and his girlfriend is a middle class. No status, no power. The captain agrees. The captain informed Lucas of his deal with Datu Bato. Knowing it is impossible to disagree, Lucas and Cinta decided to elope. However, one of Lucas' friends squilled Lucas' plan. So he was beaten black and blue and was imprisoned under tight security. Meanwhile, Cinta was already at the meeting place. She waited for so long, but Lucas did no appear. She was so broken-hearted, but still stayed patiently waiting for Lucas. So many thoughts comes into her mind. Is there anything wrong with Lucas? Is he sick? Did he change his mind? Datu Batu learned that Cinta was waiting for Lucas and sends some men to kill her. He knows as long as Cinta is alive, his daughter Anahal will never win Lucas' heart. Chapter 14. As Cinta was waiting for Lucas, she was humming a sad tune for some unknown reason. She should be happy knowing Lucas is coming, and they will be together forever. Lucas, on the other hand, is almost bleeding to death. He was still calling Cinta's name over and over again. His friend who squealed on Lucas was so guilty he would like to let him go, but scared of punishment. He just casually told the captain about Lucas and Cinta's eloping plan. He thought his captain is pro-Lucas and will help. Little did he know that Datu Batu had already bought he captain. It has been a long while and Cinta is becoming worried. She paced back and forth while twisting her fingers. She was praying hard to keep Lucas safe. Lucas was never late. He usually comes earlier than Cinta. Soon the soldiers of Datu Batu arrived. They first tried to trick Cinta into coming with them by saying her parents were looking for her. Cinta is quite familiar with the members of her clan, as it was only few. She doesn't want to go. As such, the soldiers forces her. Cinta tried to fight back, but being a young woman, her strength is not enough. She was killed on the spot. The soldiers, as per instruction from Datu Bato, throw her on the river. If she is found, people will think she just gets drowned. Her parents woke up early and can't find Cinta. They are going to town, so she has to be ready. However, they can't find her. So they went to the barracks where Lucas was. The captain hid Lucas in the infirmary and told Cinta's parents that he sent Lucas to the next town to oversee their new station. It will be months before he can come back. Cinta's parents believe the captain and left to sell their products in nearby towns. Cinta will follow as they thought, like she used to do. Months had passed and Cinta failed to see her parents. She was not even found. Maybe the crocodile had eaten her, or maybe some wild animals did. They were mourning. They just keep Cinta in their heart and prayed to Batala to keep her safe and sound with Lucas. Lucas soon recovered but lost his memories because of the brutal sufferings he had. The captain and Datu Bato then set up the wedding for Lucas and Anahao. No one is to allowed to say anything about Cinta. Anahao was already 5 months pregnant when Cinta's parents returned to the village. Lucas was helping Anahao sit and giving her fruits to eat. He was smiling at Anahao, but there is unexplainable sadness in his eyes. If Lucas is here with Anahao, where is Cinta? Isn't it that Lucas is Cinta's boyfriend? Could it be that Lucas cheated? Chapter 15. Cinta's parents hurriedly approached Lucas. Lucas, with his charming nature, greeted them with a smile, but was greeted back with a punch. Cinta's father totally comprehended that Lucas must have married. Anahao and the baby must be his. He was so angry, he would like to kill Lucas. It means your daughter was missing, and her fiancé marries another woman. It was a big disaster. Datu Bato's soldiers arrived armed with spears. They tried to push Cinta's father. Lucas, being of good nature, tried to stop them, but he wasn't successful. The soldiers then throw spears at Cinta's father. One fatal shoot hit his heart and was bleeding heavily. Before he died, cursed Lucas, "You and your descendants will never find true happiness. Boys will die before age 10. If they do not find Cinta." This was the curse of Cinta's father. Cinta's mother arrived on the scene and cried, holding her husband's dead body. She also learned that Lucas was already married with Anahao and soon to have a child of their own. She knows Lucas will never betray Cinta, so she pleaded to at least let her know where Cinta is. Hearing Cinta's name make Lucas' head spin, he suddenly feels a splitting headache. He black out. Anahao, seeing what happened to Lucas, immediately ordered for the death of Cinta's clan. They were totally annihilated. No one survived, even the herds. The whole place was covered with blood. Cinta's mother, before dying, added to the curse. "On you and your descendants must reform and find Cinta. Cinta must accept your descendants, with her whole heart on or before the 7th generation, or the clan will perish." It was nighttime when Lucas woke up. There were tears on his eyes. He went to Cinta's place and found all the dead bodies. It is at that time that he fully understand what had happened in the past few months. He was so sad and guilty on the death of the whole clan. If they can do this to the whole family, surely they must have killed Cinta too. With deep remorse and sadness, Lucas killed himself using the same knife used by the soldiers to kill Cinta's mother. Chapter 16. The trance was so tragic. Both Moses and Emilio were crying. Moses can't stand any longer what they both witnessed. He was also afraid Emilio might not be able to take it. Slowly, he lifted his hand on Emilio's head, and Emilio suddenly wake up from the deep trance. His eyes immediately look for Dore and feels relieved seeing her. He immediately signaled Dore to go near him. Emilio was still crying and embraces Dore lovingly, his hands caressing her hair while saying, "I am so sorry. I didn't know," over and over again. Dore, not fully understanding the situation, just hold Emilio's hand and playfully pinched his cheeks. "You're a boy. You must not cry. You will become ugly when you grow up." This statement made Emilio smile and then laugh at Dore's playfulness. Deep in his heart, he doesn't want to lose Dore again. The adults were silent. What did Moses and Emilio see? What made Emilio cry and ask for Dore's forgiveness? Knowing Moses, they won't pry, not unless they want. Moses give them a spell to forget what they hear and see. They will wait for Moses or Emilio to tell them. Their drinking session continue. Everyone is happy. Isco asked for his guitar and begins singing. Ano, one of their drinking buddy, begin dancing, making everyone laugh. Dore and Emilio sits at the stair waiting. for their father to give them pulutan, like puppies waiting for meat, from their master. They share everything they get. The ladies finally finished cooking and call on the kids. Since Emilio cannot walk, they gave Dore and Emilio food to eat inside the house while the other kids eats downstairs. After eating, the kids play taguan pung. Since they were little and doesn't know how to count, it will always be Emilio who will count while the other kids play. Alas, it was Dore's turn to be eat. As Emilio has been teaching her to count, Emilio let Dore do her own thing. Tagu-taguan, maliwanag ang buwan. Pagbilang ko ng 10, magtago na kayo. 1, 2, 3. Basta magtago na kayo, said Dore as she forgets. What comes after 3? Emilio was laughing so hard that everyone gets carried away with his laughter. Dore is a good sport. She doesn't mind being laughed at. In fact, she looked at Emilio proudly as if to say, "See, I can count." Chapter 17. As they played taguan, Dore and Emilio cheated. Emilio will always give Dore a sign where to find the other kids. One look is more than enough for them to understand one another. Unfortunately, since Dore is small and can't run faster than the others, she was always the seeker. Anyways, she likes it this way. The base is just at the stair near Emilio. She can look after Emilio as they play. Soon everyone is already drunk. Ano can no longer stand. His wife and kids will be carrying him home. War is fine. He can still walk but already swaying. Isco is half awake, so Maria carried him upstairs. Moses seems not been affected by alcohol. Don Luis cheated. Since he is drinking beer only, they did not force him to drink as much as everyone else. Dore and Emilio were already asleep, so Don Luis and Dona Leonor carry him into the waiting car. Their hacienda is just near the rice field, that is why. Emilio can secretly go to the rice field to see Dore in the past until discovered. Emilio was silent when he woke up in the morning. He has to find out how is he related to Lucas. He will be bugging his grandparents for stories. Upon reaching the ancestral home of Dona Leonor, he immediately asked for old photo albums. He will look for clues. He stayed in his grandparents' room the whole day as Dore was not with him. He doesn't eat much either in fear of throwing up again. He looked at each picture, trying to remember any significant similarities between Lucas, Anahao, or Cinta. Unfortunately, there are only few pictures. Pictures are very expensive during their time. Most of it are even faded. His grandfather told him that some pictures were also lost during the war. They, however, tried to have at least one picture during Christmas and New Year and every graduation day. Not much with birthdays, as they seldom celebrate much. It was just a family thing. The following day is his paternal side. Don Luis' family is rich. There must be more pictures. He remembers as well big portraits in the old house of his great-great-grandparents, which he rarely looks. They are scary for him. It is as if those paintings are watching his every move. Those things are kept near the small room his grandparents are using to pray. He needs to become braver to solve this mystery. Chapter 18. Emilio requested to see the library in his paternal grandparents' ancestral home. It was eerie. The floor is squeaking. The door creaks. The only consolation is that room is clean. The floor is shiny, but there is a musty smell due to old stuff stored in the library. It looks decent and grand. The servants open the window and put some incense for Emilio to calm him down. His grandfather assigned him an old lady to assist him with the photo albums. Her name was Itong and been serving the family since she was a child. She knows the ins and outs of the ancestral home, including old gossips. Emilio was also familiar with her as she was his father's nanny. Itong begins her story by introducing to Emilio old portraits of his great-grandparents, what they do and how many children they had. Emilio also saw old family paintings starting from the Spanish era, American regime, Japanese time, post-war, early 60s, and finally their own family pictures at the end. He noticed that most of the family members were girls. In fact, only his father is the surviving male in the family, aside from his grandfather. He now understands that it is his father's side that was cursed, not his mother. How he wished to see Uncle Moses again to ask more questions. He did not see anything familiar from the pictures. No similarities with Lucas or Anahao, probably because several generations had passed, and since during those time pictures, and writings are on bamboos. It might have not been preserved. Carefully, Emilio browsed at the photo albums. He saw some male childs in it, but not when they turn adults. He called Na Intang and asked, "Who is this? Where are they? Why are they not in other pictures?" Na Intang doesn't want to tell Emilio about the gossip that the family is cursed. She lied, saying the boys got busy and were not able to join the family pictures. Emilio is not convinced, as he already knows about the curse. "Is it because our family's cursed? All of them died before reaching 10. Emilio asked further. Intang immediately cried and asked Emilio for his mercy. She said those were family secrets no one has to know. Emilio's grandmother will severely punish her if she learned that Emilio knows about the curse. As Emilio is getting better, everyone thought the curse is over. With those words, Emilio had confirmed what he saw was not a dream, but a playback of the past. Moses put him into trance to see what happened in his previous life. He is now scared. He is 912. In 6 months, he will be dying. He doesn't want to leave Dore. He loves her. He must do something. Maybe Uncle Moses can help. However, his father was told no one knows where Uncle Moses lives. He will just come when needed when you call his name with absolute faith. Even his best friend Isco can't find him in his old house. What should he do? He doesn't want to die. Chapter 19. Emilio had seen enough. He knows the truth. He wanted to leave this stuffy room. It feels like the sad truth about his past is choking him. There were tears in his eyes. He feels like death is inevitable. Intang was crying too. Emilio's a good boy. Unlike other rich kids, Emilio is down to earth. He doesn't mind social statuses. He also often spearhead the gift-giving for unfortunate children during Christmas. The bonuses for servants, tenants, and workers in their company. Without Emilio, Don Luis will be devastated. Emilio was pushed out by Intang from the study room. There were still some tears in his eyes. Are you hurting anywhere? Everyone asked Emilio. Emilio lied, saying the ash from the incense got blown by the wind into his eyes, then looked sadly at his parents. His parents doesn't understand his sadness. Was it still related to what happened last time? That was last Friday. And since it is already Sunday, Emilio should be happy, looking forward to see Dore the following day. Emilio's grandmother immediately called Intang into the room to interrogate. She was so mad that Intang must be spreading again the rumor about the family curse. She claims there is no truth about it, and Emilio must not know. His health has improved considerably, but might die of fear. He might overthink the curse. Intang cried and told the old madam that Emilio is already aware of it. The reason why he went into the room is to seek the truth, having seen picture of boys in the portraits and family album, but none when they were adults. Only confirms his hypothesis. The old madam was shocked. Even Don Luis does not believe in it, so he wouldn't dare to tell Emilio. Emilio asked his parents to push him into the room. He doesn't want to put Na Intang into trouble. The old madam immediately hugged Emilio, crying. She was sorry. The curse was not lifted before Emilio was born. Don Luis was only able to escape the curse, but Donna Leonor is Norcinta's reincarnation. They only chose her as child bride only because she is poor and might be Cinta. However, they soon found out she wasn't, but still happy to have her. Donna Leonor is a good wife and a loving mother. She saved Don Luis. It is just so sad they could not have children. All their children are boys, in which 2 already fulfilled the curse. Only Emilio is left. The thought about Dore comes into her mind. Could she be the one? Emilio gets better when he first met her. The only problem is her parents. She couldn't be a child bride as she is so young. She remembered Don Luis offering Isco and Maria to adopt Dore, but was refused. They are good people, but she doesn't want her only grandson to die. They need to have a plan. A perfect plan. Chapter 20. The family now is in great turmoil. They know the curse is still there. This is the 7th generation, and the curse state the Cinta must be found and accept the family, or else everyone will perish. This only means Don Luis and Donna Leonor is not going to have other child after Emilio. It will be the end of their clan. The old madam, seeing Emilio at the door, calmly called him and kissed him by the cheek. She asked everyone to sit down and begin her story. According to Madam, the coming of the Spaniards brought many changes in the country. They introduced Christianity, education, improved the transportation system and economy. The natives no longer lived by tribes, but rather built wooden houses. The richer the family, the bigger the house. Datu Batu happens to be the richest in town. Since he and his clan were converted to Catholic, they were also given Christian names. He was now called as Pedro, and Anaha was called Ana. Ana and Lucas' daughter was called Clara. Clara is the most beautiful girl in town. She inherited Lucas' white skin, blue eyes, and height. Her hair is black and wavy like her mother, though. People often say she looked like an angel from the book brought by the first Spanish settlers. They were the first aristocrat in town. Clara was the first mestiza born by the natives. Although they were rich, the society is still divided into a different structure. The Spaniard, the mestizo, and lastly the Indio. Clara's beauty attracted both the Spaniards and Indios alike. Datu Batu or Pedro, however, wouldn't settle for less. He would like Clara to marry a mestizo or a pure Spaniard. An arranged marriage was again done between Clara and a Spanish man called Pablo. Pablo is a kind man, but does not hold an official title. With the power of Don Pedro, who became the town mayor, Pablo rose up and gained recognition in the society. Clara bore many children, but the boys usually dies before reaching 10, so only the girls continue the lineage. Several decades had passed, and the country flourished. Rich kids begins to study in Manila, which become the center of education and commerce. One of Lucas' descendants finally bore a son who surpassed age 10. He was called Jose. As a child, Tikang, an Indio, becomes his nanny. Tikang has a beautiful daughter called Paz. They grew up together. Being poor, Paz did not go to school. She relies on Jose, who from time to time teach her how to read and write until such time that Jose was sent to Manila to study. Halta chapter 21. Jose and Paz become the best of friends and soon lovers. Jose often go home to see his parents, and of course, Paz. He often brings Paz something new from Manila. One day, Jose brought Paz a beautiful rag doll. It wasn't big, maybe just a few inches, as it is very expensive. All the letters from Jose are being kept by Paz inside the doll. Their relation is a secret, as they know Jose's parents will not agree. Jose promised Paz to marry her when the right time comes. People knows that Paz always carry her doll. She also talks with it every time she misses Jose. She would hug and kiss the doll like any other girl. Some aristocrats claim the doll was stolen by Paz. Some says it is a voodoo doll, as the doll has turned old with lots of stitches since Paz is hiding the letters inside. From time to time, she will open the back of her doll to remove the rags and put in the letters. Sometimes, when the letter is delayed, she will open her doll to read all of Jose's letter, and soon enough, Jose will arrive. While in Manila, Jose was introduced by a friend to a young girl called Juana. Juana is the daughter of a Gobernador Cilio. She was also pretty, but not as pretty as Paz. She often flirts with Jose whenever Jose visited his friend. She will ask Jose to teach her how to compute, in which Jose is very good at. Most of the time, whenever Jose is teaching her, she will be sitting very, very near him to seduce. She wasn't lucky, though, as Jose has already given his heart to Paz. On Christmas Eve, many of Jose's friends came for a visit. One of those happens to be Juana. Paz, being the daughter of a servant, helps in entertaining the guest. She will bring drinks and snacks in the big house. As she serves, Jose and Paz exchange sweet glances, her doll tucked inside her apron. Jose's male friends also find Paz pretty and likes her, but with ill intention, being an Indio. With Jose's looks and ancestry, he is already considered a pure breed Spaniard, but an Insulares, since his parents are already considered Spaniards, and yet he was born in the Philippines. The sweet glances Jose was giving to Paz did not go unnoticed from the group. They begin teasing Jose, and the more they tease, the more Juana gets jealous. As Paz served bico to the girls, Juana tripped Paz. Paz fell down, and so does her doll. The girls, seeing an old rugged doll coming from Paz, immediately thinks it's a voodoo doll. They screamed in fear. Jose came, of course, to the rescue and explained that the doll was from him many years ago. Chapter 23. The old madam asked for a cup of tea before she continues with her story. Emilio is getting impatient as he wants to know what happened to Paz. He had seen the tragic death of Cinta and silently praying it won't happen to Paz as well. The class ended for Jose, and he prepares to go back home. As it is summer, it will be a lot of fun being with Paz once again. They can both go to the river to catch fish and crablets. He loves eating those, especially the grilled mudfish. They can have a picnic in the nearby river. He brought Paz a new wooden sandals she can wear for the forthcoming town fiesta. Jose was picked up by the gobernadorcillo and his family on the last day of school. They are going to Jose's place and attend Jose's sister wedding. Along the way, Juana keeps on talking, trying to get Jose's attention, but he wasn't interested. Jose pretended to sleep. His sister's wedding is the talk of the town. It will be grand as both were Spaniards. The Indios are invited to do the chores, but they cannot eat in the same table with the Spaniards. The rich Indios has a separate tables, and so with the mestizos. They cannot mingle with the pure blood. While the family's eating, the mayor and the gobernadorcillo announces that soon it will be the wedding of Jose and Juana as well. Paz overheard the conversation and dropped the plate of food she was serving. Juana's mother was so mad, she begins to curse Paz in Spanish. Paz was so sorry. It was a waste of food, and she feels humiliated in front of everyone. As such, she begins to avoid Jose. She stood firm not to talk with him again, as they do not match. Jose, however, won't agree and asked Paz to elope with him at the time of his sister's wedding. People will be busy. Nobody will notice they are gone. It was a great plan. Unfortunately, since Jose was so engrossed trying to persuade Paz, he did not notice Juana was eavesdropping. Juana then created an evil plan. She told her servant that she saw Paz carrying a voodoo doll. That voodoo doll was used by Paz to cast a love spell to Jose. Her servant remembers seeing Paz always carrying a doll under her apron and immediately conclude it is true. The rumor that Paz is a witch spread like wildfire among the servants and to the parish priest. Their priest officially is not a real priest, but someone who just studied theology. Due to the scarcity of real priests volunteering to stay in the country, these people assume the title to gain wealth and power. The following day, the so-called priest asked for Paz to confess. Paz has nothing to confess and denied all the allegation. The priest then asked for the doll, which Paz refused to give. It contains all the love letters Jose sent her for years. This angers the priest and uses force to get the doll. As he do so, the priest keeps in touching Paz's private parts while pretending to search. Paz was so humiliated, she climbed the bell tower and jumped. Paz was so humiliated, she climbed the bell tower and jumped. She believes she has no face to see Jose. She is no longer pure. Her reputation is ruined. Jose, hearing the sad news of Paz's death, rushed to the church. Paz is really dead. There is nothing he can do. As such, to avoid marriage, he entered the seminary. Both parents does not hold him back, as it is a great blessing for the family to have a priest as a relative. They are nearer to heaven. Jose is a good man. As a priest, he never let himself be corrupted by both the town officials and the congregation. This angers the ministry and fabricates false accusation. He later on was sentenced to death by guillotine. There goes the second-generation Lucas. Chapter 24. Don Luis and his family went home with a heavy heart. He now confirmed the curse. He will ask Emilio what he saw during the trance. He needs to know so they can do something. The old madam only knows about the curse, but not the whole story. Only Emilio and Moses know about it. Emilio was silent in their way home. He doesn't want to let Dore know about his impending death. He wants it to be secret so she can live happily. Monday is a new day, a new beginning for everyone. As usual, Emilio went to the rice field early. He was surprised to see many people in Dore's house. It feels like Friday, as all the neighbors are there, including the kids. From the looks of it, they will be working together. He soon finds out that it is already harvest time for the rice. Technically, they will all help together to drain the rice field, use knives to cut stalks, which are then beaten or trampled to separate the grain. They will take turn in doing it, one rice field at a time. They call it bayanihan. As they do so, they will be killing pigs and chickens to share. It is a fun activity for the old folks, but kids are not allowed. In the field, due to bulo ng palay, which refers to the tiny, fine hairs found on the husks of rice grains, palay. These hairs can be a significant nuisance during harvest because they easily detach and float in the air, often causing intense skin irritation, itching, and redness upon contact. As such, the kids stay in the e-house where the old people, the pregnant women, and those who cannot work in the rice field will be in charge of cooking. The little kids enjoyed playing. People are singing, and once the task is done, there will also be drinking session and dancing. With such festivities, Emilio temporarily forgets about the curse. He is happy being with Dore. He had so much fun. When they begin singing, especially Dore, he knows she is out of tune, and with her tiny weeny voice it becomes very funny for everyone. For Emilio, it is the most beautiful voice he ever heard, almost angelic. Soon Emilio was requested to render a song. He is not used to singing without accompaniment. Isco, the barrio's best guitarist, volunteered to play a guitar for Emilio, as long as Emilio hums first the tune he can do. Emilio started humming the tune Ikaw, and Isco immediately gets the tune. Ikaw ang pag-ibig na hinintay. Puso ay nalumbay ng kay tagal, ngunit ngayoy nandito na ikaw. Ikaw ba niyong pag-ibig na binigay sa akin ng may kapal? Biyaya ka sa buhay ko, ligaya't pag-ibig ko'y ikaw. Ikaw ang pag-ibig na hinintay. Puso ay nalumbay ng kay tagal, ngunit ngayoy nandito na ikaw. Ikaw ba niyong pag-ibig na binigay sa akin ng may kapal? Biyaya ka sa buhay ko, ligaya't pag-ibig ko'y ikaw. Emilio, even as a child, has a great voice. Everybody claps after he was done. Dore claps and shouts the loudest, more, more, more. Chapter 25. As Emilio is a good singer, many are requesting for more songs from him. He would like to sing English song, but Dore will not understand, and so he chooses another Tagalog song. How he wished there is electricity in the rice field so they can use the karaoke. With that, they can choose the song they like, and Tatay. Isco will not be tired accompanying singers. Since everyone is helping hand during the harvest, Emilio chose to sing Salamat, which is appropriate to what the people are doing. Salamat, tayo'y magkasamang muli. Salamat, at may gabing nakalaan sa kaunting kasiyahan. Kay tamis ng ating samahan, sa lungkot at kaligayahan. Tunay na kaibigan kasamang maaasahan. This was answered by Dore with the song Hawak Kamay. Hawak kamay, di kita iwan sa paglakbay. Dito sa mundong walang katiyakan. Hawak kamay, di kita bibitawan sa paglalakbay. Sa mundo ng kawalan. With Dore's song, everybody stand and hold hands and join singing. Little did they know that Emilio was so touched by the song. He feels that the song matches his current situation, especially the part that says, she will always be there when life becomes hard. Don Luis and Donna Leonor soon arrived and heard the song too. It pierces their heart, and Donna Leonor failed to control her emotion. She was already crying before she reaches Emilio. It feels that there is really no solution to the curse issue that they are facing. The tenants keeps on singing the song over and over again when they heard someone whistling the song as well. No one in the whole barrio can whistle that long and in tune with the song except Moses. Dore jumped out of joy seeing her uncle, Moses. She immediately showered him with kisses while asking if he is there to help Emilio. Moses smiled sweetly to Dore, but did not answer. Moses called Don Luis and Donna Leonor, Isco and Maria secretly. Chapter 26. Moses does not want the whole barrio to gossip about Emilio and Dore. The curse is also Don Luis family matters. Moses, this time, tells what he and Emilio see during their trance. He suspects that both Emilio and Dore is the reincarnation of Lucas and Cinta. He would like to put Dore into trance as well to find out if she was Cinta and what can be done to break the curse. Don Luis told Moses what they have discovered regarding the second generation Lucas and Cinta. He explained that their love again falter because of another woman, and the priest resulting to the tragic death of the lovers. Hearing this story make Moses give a sigh of relief, as it means they will at least be skipping one trance. To remove the curse, they need to know what happened in the whole sixth generation. A solution can be done on the 7th, which is Emilio's turn. In addition, both kids must re-experience at least one of the generation. Emilio did his turn. It will be Dore now. The problem will be when, where, and how. Dore is very young and talkative. She might be spreading gossip about who she was unexpectedly. The group then decided to hold another meeting after the harvest so as not to arouse suspicion. They all came back with the partying group. Upon their return, the neighbors begin asking Isco and Maria on why they have to talk in secret. Moses, being a respectable member, if the group announced that he will be performing magic tricks and needs the cooperation of the couples. No one questioned what he said. People respect Moses so much and scared on what he can do. They believe he is a supernatural being and can do a lot of unusual spells. People believed Moses is a son of human and a lambana. This is the reason why Moses is so handsome and seems not to be aging. During his younger days, he can be working in the field the whole day without getting tired. He can finish the task of 3 people easily as well. His skin was pale and glistening in the night. The most important thing is that he will just appear and disappear with no one seeing. Hearing the word magic make all the kids excited. He first did some simple tricks like getting coins from the kids' ears and flowers from Dore's hair. He also asked Ano to sit in one of the stool, then later on asked him to stand. The stool got stuck with Ano's butt, and no matter what they do, they cannot remove the stool. One of the big guy called Bruno forces the stool ripping. Ano's pants showing his flower-colored boxing shorts. Everybody laughs at Ano, making him run home to change his pants. The merriment lasted till late. No one wants to go home yet, but they need to work again tomorrow in the field. Chapter 27. The week passed by quickly. All the rice has been harvested in the field, and each tenant is now busy drying the pillay. Once dried, they will remove the husk, and another bayani hand will be held. With that in mind, Moses and the 2 parents will have to act quickly. Someone needs to experience the hardship of the 2 children for the 3rd to the 6th generation, so they can conclude the final solution. Who will go to trance, or how they can unearth the 3rd generation sufferings is the next question. Emilio volunteered to take Dore's turn but was refused by Moses. Dore has to experience as well 1 generation. Which generation will depends upon Dore's parents. The 3rd generation is the American regime. The 4th is the world. War II, the 5th is post-war, and the 6th is Don Luis. Time, so they are excused to that. Moses just needs to hypnotize Don Luis to find out why and how he survived, since Donna Leonor is not Cinta. Isco and Maria contemplate which would be easier and soon decided to give Dore a hand on the American regime. It seems this era is less brutal than the war. As such, they decided to meet at the mansion on Tuesday evening, as Moses' power is stronger during Tuesday and Friday. In reality, Friday is fine, but the neighbors will look for them as Friday is always a drinking session, gathering, and might get suspicious. After the sunset on Tuesday, Don Luis asked his servants to help the couple stack the pillay and keep then in a dry place. This will make it easier for them to reach the mansion earlier. As usual, they cannot find Moses. However, since they already set the time, they firmly believe he will come no matter what. Upon reaching the mansion, Isco and Maria was surprised that Dore seems to be familiar with the place. She knows where to go as she was helping to push Emilio's wheelchair. It is her first time to be inside the mansion, and Emilio is not even guiding Dore where to go. They remember that Dore is only being picked up by Don Luis and Donna Leonor during Saturday and Sunday to visit the grandparents, but those were different. Houses not the original mansion of Don Luis, which lies as the middle of the hacienda.